Now we want to move on because we've got Fergus O'Dowd, the chairman of the Joint Committee for Tourism, Transport and Sport, with us in studio. Fergus, good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good morning to you. Good to be here.
So this is an interesting 8 days you guys have ahead of yourselves.
Yes,
Sport Ireland are in today, and then next week it's the FAI. Just for anybody who's coming late to this story, maybe we should just come back a little bit. Why are Sport Ireland in today? Why are the FAI in next week?
Well, the government give about 2.9 million every year to the FAI, and they give that through Sports Ireland. So they're the vehicle by which the money is passed, and the due diligence on that money is done by Sports Ireland. So we have them in first because of the controversy that arose. And we will have clarity today following their visit to our committee as to the criteria they use, how they actually, how they operate their money, how they invigilate how it's spent. They've already told us that they audit their particular fund for many, many years, and they're absolutely satisfied that the money that they give to the FAI is used properly and appropriately for youth and for grassroots education, player development and regional staff development. The issue arises about the general governance of the FAI and the accountability, if any, to Sports Ireland in relation to that. As a committee, our job is actually governance of any money that is given to any sports organisation, either whole and in part in terms of their operations. Okay, so that's where it's at.
Is this a different committee from the Oireachtas committee that had the 3 sporting bodies before them about 18 months ago?
No, we are the committee that deal with transport, tourism and sport. They're the issues that we deal with in terms of our remit. So we're responsible, we act on behalf of the Dáil, of the people who are elected in the country. It's our job to make sure that obviously we do due diligence on all of the bodies that come before us. We have to be seen to be fair, we have to be seen to be objective. So this is not going to be today or next week. It's nothing other than a professional assessment of what is going on, what are the issues, where is the accountability, what are the questions, and obviously we want the answers, and that's what our members will look for.
Are you limited to talking about the 2.9 million? Is that the figure you said?
2.9. No, we're limited to basically. Today we'll be talking to Sports Ireland about how they operate with all sports organisations. They have a common application form which everybody fills in, and then the diligence that they do on that, and also the concerns that they have about the £100,000 cheque which was, I believe, sent by Mr. Delaney to the FAI. What they have concerns about that, we have concerns about that, and clearly, we want to hear more about that and what they're going to do about it, if anything, what their powers are.
Can I just talk to you a little bit about the last time that the various sports bodies were in front of the committee? Are you a new chair of this?
I'm a new chair, I am.
Brendan Griffin was the chair at that stage, is that right?
Yeah. When Brendan became a minister, I was...
That's how that works, because you can't, because that's kind of a conflict of interest. Okay. Because the process that they used the last time was a bit weird.
Okay, well, I wasn't there.
Well, that's a good start. You've been interviewed 1,000 times, right?
I have, I suppose, yeah, sure.
And you can tell the difference between a good interview and a bad interview at this point, right?
Well, I hope I'm doing all right.
Well, but if I was to ask you 10 questions at the start...
I'll answer your questions, yeah.
But here's the thing, if I asked you all the 10 questions at the start, and there was 3 you didn't like, I'm giving you an opportunity not to answer them, aren't I? Well,
not really, because, I mean, whoever you are, you have to be accountable. I'll answer questions best I can. That's my job.
But my point is that the last time...
I know what you're saying. That didn't happen,
Well, so what they did was the TDs and the senators were given an opportunity to speak. They spoke and asked all their questions.
Yes.
And then they went around the table and everybody else asked their questions. And at the end, whoever it was, and it wasn't just the FAI, it was the same for the IRFU. And
of course, I understand.
They were like, well, I'm going to answer that one and that one and that one. And my time is up. Off we go.
Well, the first thing is that we're meeting at 2:30 in private sessions. So we will have our advisors in there, both our corporate in-house advisors, and obviously members of the Oireachtas will be there as well. So we're going to talk about exactly what you're saying, how we're going to approach this, what we can ask, what we can't ask. And the process is, you're right, that we go from each, there are a number of different parties there. You have Fine Gael, you have Fianna Fáil, you have Sinn Féin, you have Independents. So you have to be fair to every single group that's there, and they will have the right to ask their questions. But what we want is answers.
Even the sequence of that. Can I just?
Of course. No, you're right. I'm very happy.
If it's going to function, you have a big opportunity. But if everybody asks their questions, then you don't get to build on the answers. If it when question, answer, then you could go, well, as you just said there, that's an interesting point you break up.
Well, we will decide that today.
Okay, so
depending on the issues.
Because we weren't sure if that was like, if this is somehow written down in the heads of the Oireachtas.
No, we ourselves. Obviously, everybody wants to ask the first question. But so
I would like to ask the last question, to be honest.
Well, I've no doubt you do.
But here's the thing, so that's the bit of, if everybody wants to ask the first question.
Yeah, well, that's reasonable, you know.
Yeah, I know, but even that it's the wrong attitude, because it's
no, but the way we do, you see, how you decide that, you decide as a committee before you come in. What will be the order of questions? What are the areas of interest of different people? And then obviously you don't ask the same question as me, and you don't ask the same question as yourself. Yeah, and so that's the way it goes.
Listen out to the answers. Yeah. That would be the other bit.
Of course, yeah. What I mean, it's all in public. It's all in public. It's all in. It's all in front of everybody. So there's total transparency.
Yeah, it's streamed live.
Accountability.
Yeah. What's the highest priority question for you? If you'd want
my question is, you know, the governance of the FAI. How do they invigilate? I mean, it's not good enough for me to say that yes, our 2.9 million is audited. We're very happy we do it time and time again. But the general governance of the FAI is a far deeper question to me. And if you look at the rules and regulations that you sign up to, like they actually say in their application here, you know, that in order to approve funding to the organisation, Sports Ireland must be satisfied that, and I'm quoting, appropriate arrangements are in place for the overall governance and management of the organisation. To me, that is the key question. That is the key question, because it brings everything into play then. And there's another point. The FAI have advised us in their letter to us on the 18th of February. They say they name certain people who are going to come before us. Now that's for next week. John Delaney, Frank Gavin, Ray Walsh, Karen Champion, and their high performance director. But I'm of the view that they haven't given us any person who's responsible for the governance, right, of the organisation. So hopefully the committee will agree that we'll have Donald Conway in, Eddie Murray, the chairman of the Legal and Corporate Affairs, Mr. Pádraig Traynor, as well as the new interim chief executive, and so on. So we want to set the agenda in terms of accountability.
She's mentioned there in the
She is the new chief executive, obviously, or acting chief executive, sorry. But the point is that they didn't offer any members of the board who have oversight of governance. So we want them in, because that is where we can ask the questions.
Yeah, now obviously in that referendum a long time ago, we as a country decided that we didn't want to be able to allow the members of the Oireachtas force people to come, which I always thought was a bit of a mistake on our part. But anyway, so they can say no, right?
Well, they can say no, but the point is I don't expect them to say no, because it's too big an issue. Like there are tens of thousands of young people play every week. You have look, I'm a grandfather now, but I used to go with my kids everywhere. Now, they were rugby players rather than soccer players, but like there's so many parents, so many young people, it's their dream, it's to play for their parish, for their local team, to play for the school, to play for their county, to play for their country. That's what they want. I was a teacher for many years. I had in my classes the famous Gary Kelly, you know, I had Dave Colgan, I don't know if you ever heard of Dave, he was a great young youth soccer supporter. Nicky Colgan, who played internationally, and obviously Ian Hart. So I know myself from working with young people how big it is to be successful, and indeed how big it is to participate and to be part of that. So clearly the whole FA, all of it, is what all the people want, is a transparent, accountable, vibrant, dynamic organisation. Sure, they'll have rows, sure they'll have disagreements, but it's part of it. It's an organic, you know, living thing, and I think people want it to be totally transparent, and that's my belief.
So you've explicitly asked the FAI to produce members of.
We're going to do that. Well, I'm going to post that we do that today.
Okay.
They have given us these names, and we want to add. I want to add to
Okay, so that's new today, is it?
It is new today. Yeah, that's just right now. Yeah. Okay. The committee have to agree to it, obviously. So in a way, you're the first to hear it.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
So I hope it happens.
Yeah. Well,
I blame you because.
No, that's great. We can definitely help each other out.
We'll push for that. Yeah.
To be honest, because we believe in everything you've just said about the power of sport and the value of sport, and it seems to me that it's like it's the type of thing that absolutely needs government intervention to make sure that the numbers continue to increase. And so it's great to hear you talk like that. We were very disappointed with the performance of the committee the last time.
Okay, right.
It felt a little bit like you hadn't...
Set piece, yeah.
It was very set piece.
This won't be a set piece.
Very grandstanding, and then also just a little bit of crack and talk about tickets, and you're like, come on lads.
Well, on the ticket,
so much
I want
money.
to make it very clear. I've neither sought, looked for, given, or asked for a ticket from anybody ever.
No, but
that's
even
the way I do business. I'm not involved in any of that stuff.
It became kind of
give me one for the.
But it was just a joke.
Yeah.
And actually, this is serious.
This is very serious.
Here's the thing, because it wasn't serious at that stage.
Yeah.
It's serious now, and you kind of realise, lads, in fairness, some members of the committee were definitely immune from this criticism. They had done work and they had stuff that they had done research on and they had detailed.
Sure.
But it felt like everybody gets equal weight because...
Well, in fairness, on this issue, last December, Deputy Catherine Murphy asked, long before we knew none of this at that time, that they would be brought in. So in fairness to her, she is the person, the TD, who said, I want them in, and we agreed yes. There's an exchange of correspondence. There were 3 different dates given by the FAI, and they changed them. So we stuck to the 10th, which is next week. They did offer to come in today, but we said no. They didn't give us the answers. They didn't give us their accountability for the 100,000. They haven't shared their audit with us on their internal governance, which is a huge issue. We still don't have a copy of it up to close of business last night. We don't have an explanation, and we don't have the audit, and that is obviously of serious concern to all of us. And clearly, neither do the Sports Ireland up to close of business yesterday had. So these are serious issues.
Obviously asked for that.
Oh yes, of course. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, we want to get it. And now clearly...
How many times have you asked for it?
Pardon? Well, I think there's at least 3 different letters have gone out. I don't have them with me, but we have asked and we've expressed our concerns publicly as well. Look, this is not a game. This is deadly serious. This has to have the outcome which all of the people out there want, which is a more accountable, more professional body. No, there's no doubt about it. This is very serious, and we mean business, absolute. But we have to be fair. We have to be transparent. It's not a star chamber, and it is not.
Yeah.
And people have to be treated.
No, that's fair enough.
That's very important.
Absolutely, yeah.
From my perspective.
I think that definitely the sequencing of how the questioning works will help to illuminate.
Well, the committee will decide that today, but Catherine Murphy has already said at our last meeting that we should structure it in such a way that we act as a team. We are together. We are absolutely determined to get this outcome, which is best for everybody. And you're right. No, we don't want grandstanding or any of that bullshit, for want of a better word. We want straight talk, straight answers. And we want to make sure that we are accountable as well in our process. And
I'm right in saying that while the committee can make findings and recommendations, the main point about this is that it is illuminating an issue for the public.
It's shining a light. We shine the light as best we can. Now, the problem is there are legal constraints. There is a Supreme Court decision as regards how other committees acted. So I can't, and I don't know exactly the legal advice we'll be getting today, but that will be very important, that we can't move outside our legal realm, but which is clearly governance strategies and plans.
Yeah.
And I think everything we're talking about falls into that category. And again, I go back to the Sports Ireland issue. Appropriate arrangements are in place for the overall governance and management of the organisation. That's a key point.
Yeah, because that's the
key worry.
That gives you the scope to investigate.
Exactly, and you can't say we're only talking about the 2.9 million.
Yeah.
You have to talk about the whole organisation, full stop, in my view.
Okay, good stuff, Fergus. We're looking forward to that, and it'll be streamed live, obviously, on the...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so we'll be linking to that as well. Just a word on what Fergus O'Dowd was saying there. The key takeaways really are the fact that the Oireachtas Committee are going to ask for a different guest list. They have got a specific list of names, and essentially it's the new interim CEO and a bunch of the FAI board who are responsible for finance and governance, which is really interesting, which means that it won't just be about the running of the league or high performance, which is obviously what the makeup of the original suggested attendees on behalf of the FAI was. That was the first thing. And the second thing was that they do have the power to investigate the governance of the entire sports body as a result of Sport Ireland's charter. So let's see where that goes, and we'll obviously be covering that story over the next while, because it puts a bit of pressure on Sport Ireland too to make sure that they're doing due diligence beyond the individual bits that they provide to the various sports organisations